What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to my channel. My name is CringeyJesse, and this is Formula 123 season number 2. However, before we get started, some things I'd like to explain. Yes, the contract system was glitched in that last save, so we started a new save. Do not worry. We came out P8, so I came back as a midfield fighter, I think the thing was. So you have three options. You have the newcomer, the midfield fighter, and the podium contender, championship contender. Those three, they give you a different starting level of car. They give you a different starting level of money, all that, blah, blah, blah. Now, even though I was fighting for podium positions near the end of that season, I still didn't think it was right to put myself there at the top, so I put myself there at the middle. And to show off some things that we did, our team name this year, instead of Cringey Racing being one word, we separated it and then added F1. Just in case there's ever a new racing game that comes out that we like to explore, we know that this one will be the F1 team. Even though we would already know that just by the title of it saying Formula 120. But that's not what we're going to get into. No, not at all. We have our sponsor. They are Quest. The weekly income being $372,000, the signing bonus being $4.8 million, the goal bonus being $5.8 million. And to get that goal bonus, we have to earn 25 constructors points in this season. We have decided to partner up with Red Bull Powertrains. We're going to use their engine this season with a 90% performance and an 85% durability. Hopefully that'll help us out. And Jamie Chadwick has decided that she would also like to come back to our team now that we have a better car. She said, maybe that means I will do better in the races. Only one way to find out. And with that midfield fighter pack, that puts us in 5th place out of vehicle performance comparisons. Red Bull in first, Ferrari in second, Aston Martin in third, Mercedes in fourth. Basically, what is happening, yes, this is season 2, but the FIA realized they messed up with the contract system, so we are restarting the 2023 season before 2024 happens. And everything's just going to stand vehicle-wise, basically, because we did all that hard work. They're going to let the vehicle stand for the most part. Put that in quotes just in case someone goes back and was like, oh, but Alfa Romeo and Williams were a lot. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about, okay? It's just 2023 again, all right? We improved our car. Leave me alone. Anyway, also because of that, rosters are back to normal, unfortunately. So whoever they started with in 2023 season 1 is who they're going to start with in 2023 season 2. As much as a lot of us were excited to see Ayumu Iwasa come back for his revenge, he still has time if anybody picks him up whenever they decide to pick him up. And now looking at the schedule, instead of a 23-round schedule, we have a 16-round schedule. We're going to be starting in Bahrain, then heading over to Saudi Arabia's Jeddah circuit, Australia, Miami, Imola, the Spain circuit, Canada, Austria, wow, I can't believe I messed it up, Austria, Great Britain, Belgium, Monza, Japan, Qatar, Brazil, Las Vegas, and to finish it all off, as always, Abu Dhabi. And with all of that out of the way, we're going to go to the start of how every video usually starts, and that is qualifying here in Bahrain. And here we are in Q1, about to start our first lap, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, I was looking at my car this entire weekend thinking, wow, I really do not like these colors. They do not look as good as I thought they did. So this is going to be a one-time livery, at least a one-time livery color, as we will look for a better color combination for the rest of the season. But coming to the end of our first lap in Q1, it is going to give us P4 with a 131.4. And at the moment, it being, I think it said less than a second from the leader, I think that is going to be good enough to go straight into Q2. And it was barely, not really barely, it was P9. So I definitely had it. Starting our first lap for Q2. Hoping to improve, do a little bit better than before. But as we come around the last turn, Lance Stroll behind us, he's getting that pull for sure. We had it looked like it said P2 and then Stroll, but I don't know, P3 and then Stroll takes P3. We had a 131.0, so we did improve just a little bit. I thought about doing a second lap, but there was Verstappen to slow me down, but it was good enough to get me into Q3. As we start Q3, lap number 1. This is actually lap number 2. Our first lap was good enough for P7. Hoping to improve. Jesus. Hoping to improve. We come around the last corner. We got a lot of time there, but we also did a little bit of a slip and slide, which brought us back into the negative. It does not look like we're going to improve with 2 red sectors, 1 green. We come out P7 to start the Bahrain Grand Prix. And here we are in Bahrain for the first race of the 2023 Part 2 season. 16 rounds we will be driving, but this will be the first one to start it off and to see how well everybody is prepared for this 16 round Part 2 of 2023 season. As we get started with the starting grid, Max Verstappen on pole, Carlos Sainz in second. Will Max Verstappen be able to win his 4th consecutive Drivers' Championship? Only one way to find out. We have Leclerc and Alonso, Hamilton, Perez, myself in 7th, Russell in 8th, Lance Stroll and Ocon finishing out your top 10, Albon, Norris, Guan Yu Zhou, Pierre Gasly, Yuki Tsunoda and Valtteri Bottas, Oscar Piastri and Kevin Magnussen. We got Nico Hulkenberg and Logan Sargent, Jamie Chadwick and Nick DeVries finishing out your last row. And even though we're in a better car and she thought she could do better, Jamie Chadwick still flirting with Nick DeVries in the last row. We're going to put faith in it because we like the name duo. It is JC and CJ for the Cringy Racing Formula 1 team. But here we are at the start of the race. I had a bad parking spot to start it, but 5 red lights are off and away we go. Carlos Sainz getting the worst start ever, which is going to slow down Sergio Perez and help me jump all the way up into 5th, coming up into the first turn. Can I get by anybody? It doesn't look like it. The best diver of Formula 123 so far this year got shut out by Fernando Alonso, but helping Lewis Hamilton get into the top 3. Fernando Alonso is my next target. Is there any chance at all of me catching up to him? Still in lap 1, about to start sector 3, coming to the end of sector 2, around the long turn on the inside by Fernando Alonso we go. Looking forward to being in the top 3 as Lewis Hamilton is still less than a second ahead of us. And if we can stay right where we are, maybe, just maybe we get some DRS. But as we move up to lap 4, we see that was not the issue as Fernando Alonso coming around the inside of the last turn of lap 4 to start lap number 5. He did it just in time to get DRS because I don't have the DRS. And you can see his flap is wide open as he gets right past me. I'm not going to go to the other side. Carlos Sainz cut me off. I had to cut back. And I hit the back of Fernando Alonso, losing half of my wing, but then coming around for part 2 of tapping that, I get all of my wing taken off. That is ridiculous. As we come to the end of lap 5, I still have no wing. I plan on pitting, but I want as many positions as I can get back. As without a wing, I got to go slowly around these turns, and I've lost a lot of positions down into P9, going into the pit. Oh, Guan Yu Zhou. Guan Yu Zhou spins me out before I get into the pit lane, but I survive, and I am able to drive into the pit lane, get a new wing, put on some hards. Maybe those hards will last to the end of the race, and as we come out, we are about 25 seconds behind Logan Sargent, Jamie Chadwick. So maybe if we can stay consistent around these laps, maybe, just maybe, I can catch up and make some more passes as they do still have to box. Moving up to lap number 6, you can see Guan Yu Zhou, because he spun me out. I'm pretty sure I messed up his wing. He is going into the pit lane to get himself a new wing. So that's 1 position gained, and we are now 22 seconds behind everybody. So 1 lap on fresh hards. We have moved up 3 seconds on everybody in front of us. So I'm definitely thinking we are about to be able to get some positions as we move up to lap number 9. That might actually be the same lap. Nico Hulkenberg is out of the race. If you look up here to your left, ladies and gentlemen, you will see a parked Haas right there on the side of the road. Not making fun of them, I love them, especially if you're watching my Formula 1 manager career. We are trying to help them. As we come up lap 10, everybody is in the pit lane. Well, not everybody, but enough of them to get me up to P16 in front of Valtteri Bottas. Alexander Albon was able to get out before I was able to catch up to him, so he is going to keep P15 nice and warm for me. Because like I'm doing in both of these, P15 or higher is just my goal. Coming up to the next lap, we're about to start lap number 11. We got a couple of more people in the pit lane. Jamie Chadwick, Oscar Piastri, and Logan Sargent for sure. But just enough. Pierre Gasly was in there as well. But just enough to get me up into P11. So now Alexander Albon is holding on to the points, keeping them nice and warm for me. Lap number 12, we see Fernando Alonso in the pit lane, but he was able to get out in front of Alexander Albon, who's still holding those points nice and warm for me as I try my best to catch up to him. Unfortunately, we was not able to pass Fernando Alonso. Still lap 13, still P11 as Valtteri Bottas makes the move on the inside, but I think I can catch him. I lose it just a little bit, but it was enough to hit the wall, and the wall was even harder to make us spin. So just like Verstappen in the, I believe it was the Dutch Grand Prix last year where he made the spin but didn't lose a spot. Unfortunately, I did lose my spot. I'm all the way down to P17 after being P11. Kevin Magnussen right on my tail. And there's a safety car. We move up to lap 14. Safety car is out. It was my fault. I did once again spin. I don't know what it is. Through practice, I was just sliding all over the track. And even in qualifying, I know you only really see the start of a lap and then the end of the lap, because I feel like the videos would just be way too long if I showed the entire lap. Yeah, I spun. I got caught on a curb. Safety car is out. Thank goodness that is going to allow me to stop and pit for fresh mediums. Safety car in this lap, and I've yet to even catch up to the line, really, as we are preparing to resume racing. I can't pass anybody to the line, but because they are already ahead of me and ready to go, they're far ahead of me. But thankfully, this is the first turn. We're coming up to turn number 1, so everybody's going to be backed up because everybody takes this slow turn. Because they have to. And as I come, the best diver in Formula 1, but not today. For whatever reason, I am not the best diver today, as I hit Yuki Tsunoda, who puts me in the grass. I guess that's karma. I'm not sure for what. Maybe for causing the safety car, and he was mad about it, but who knows. As we come up to turn 2, not turn 2, turn something of another. Not able to catch anybody, but up here on the slow U-turn, side by side with Nick De Vries, getting past Jamie Chadwick, using a little way too much of the curb, but the FIA is going to let it slide because I was the safest option. I was clearly faster, and he was clearly in the way. I promise, I do have the rules turned on. Should I turn them on to strict? If you made it to this part of the video and you're hearing this question, answer down below in the comments. Should I turn it up to strict? Should I? I don't know. But an inside turn on Logan Sargent, the only other U.S. driver on the grid as of right now. I think he got saved by the restart of 2023's season, as now Kevin Magnussen up in front of me. I'm going to use my ERS because we're still in the first lap of the restart. I'm telling him to get out my way by barely touching his back tire, and I do get around him, and as you can see, I'm still sliding ever so slightly through these turns as Yuki Tsunoda, Oscar Piastri, and I believe Guan Yu Zhou is up there. I can't really see that other car. It is Guan Yu Zhou coming up to lap 1, and I hit the back of Yuki Tsunoda, losing half of my wing. Now I'm side by side connected with Oscar Piastri, who's connected with Guan Yu Zhou, and that's going to slow all of us down. But I'm still going. Oh, I'm not. Oh, I got spun out into the gravel with Guan Yu Zhou once again. It is me and Guan Yu Zhou, and there it looks like, oh, it's Oscar Piastri. Oh, Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki Tsunoda runs into me there, and Nick De Vries is also out of this race, and Kevin Magnussen being held up by the wreckage that just happened. Yellow flags, resume racing, lap 18. I didn't really expect a safety car, but with 2 cars DNF'd right there on the middle of the track, I definitely expected a red flag, but that is not going to come out today. And as we skip up to the very last, because nothing else happened, the last turn here, lap 20 in Bahrain. Charles Leclerc is your winner. P14 will be where I end this race after starting. I believe it was P7 I started. Yes, it was P7, and then I got all the way up to P4. But P14 is my final destination. Driver of the day goes to me. Not sure how, not sure why. I didn't hold anybody at point, but hey, it is what it is. The Ferrari, they're over there celebrating as Charles Leclerc is coming down the hallway. Hopefully we get a couple of those this season because we didn't get any last. And that is your Bahrain Grand Prix, your top 14, because everybody, normally I like just to do the top 10 because those are your points, but it goes all the way down to 14, which is where I'm at, but we're mainly focused on the top 10 because that's your points. Charles Leclerc winning the first race of the season, Max Verstappen getting P2, Sergio Perez P3, so a Red Bull 1-2 and a Ferrari P1. If you watched my manager video that just happened, it's almost the same exact. No, it is. It is exactly the same exact top 3. Carlos Sainz P4, Fernando Alonso P5, Lewis Hamilton P6, George Russell P7, Lance Stroll P8, Lando Norris P9. Wow, good shot for the McLarens. And Alexander Albon P10. Williams as well, getting up in the points systems. Those are your point holders as of right now. And then myself, who started at 7th, got all the way to P4, will finish P14. Moving on over into our driver standings, it'll be as it was as everything ended. Charles Leclerc leading everything at the moment. Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Lewis Hamilton, George Russell, Lance Stroll, Lando Norris, Alexander Albon. Those are your point holders at the moment. Everybody else is just 25 points behind the leader, because that's what it goes by, the leader. Anyway, because that one is short, because it is the first race, I did want to mention one thing. Did know that there was somebody in my comments for the first season, 2023 Part 1, who said maybe I should do more laps, and I did put a lot of thought into it. I think I even made a video about possibly doing so. I did put a lot of thought into it, but there's a lot of boring parts that just get ultimately skipped in this, and even like in today's race, I think we skipped a good bit of the race because nothing really happened, and that is why I think I'm going to stick to that 35% esport type distance of race. But yes, anyway, that is your driver standings. On to the constructors. Ferrari leading the constructors' standings by only 3 points as Red Bull is in second, Aston Martin in third, Mercedes in fourth, McLaren in fifth, Williams in 6th, Alfa Romeo in 7th, Alpine in 8th, Cringy Racing Formula 1 P9 has P10, and AlphaTauri P11. There is no standing points goal for this season, as our main sponsor just wants 25 points. They just want us to get 25 points. So that is the goal for this season, is to get 25. Was it drivers or constructors? Now I need to go back and look. I'll let you know in the next video. However, that is your round 1 Bahrain Grand Prix. Thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, please hit that like button. If you have suggestions, put it down in the comments. And if you can't wait for the next video, please hit that subscribe button. Either way, the only thing it really does is boost my confidence. But I am also trying to grow my numbers, so if you could be ever so kind to help out, I would love it. Anyway, until next time, I will see you guys in Jeddah on Formula 123 and in Monaco on Formula 1 Manager. Until next time, thank you and goodbye.